Look closely at your face in the mirror tomorrow morning, because what you see on your eyelids could be the only warning your body gives you that your kidneys are actively shutting down. There is a terrifying medical reality that most conventional doctors completely ignore, and it is the fact that you can lose up to 90% of your total kidney function without feeling a single ounce of pain, sickness, or fatigue. Your kidneys are masters of compensation, quietly filtering your blood and mutating their operation to keep you upright until they hit a literal cliff, which is exactly why an emergency room doctor recently sent a young individual home with a basic water pill for puffy eyes, completely missing the fact that 5 minutes later, that patient's kidneys were an absolute catastrophic failure. If you care about your metabolic health, if you want to protect your longevity, and if you refuse to let a silent illness steal your future, hit that like button right now to help push this vital information to others. And subscribe to Metabolic Health Lab, because what we are unpacking today is something you will not hear in a standard checkup. Right now, before your brain gets distracted by the deep science, type the word protect in the comments below to lock your focus into this protocol, because learning how to read your face is the ultimate baseline defense against a disease that 35 million people are currently suffering from without even knowing it. The human eye is not just a tool for vision, it is a literal biological window into the deepest filtration systems of your internal anatomy. When we talk about puffy eyelids, fluid accumulation, or strange discolored patches on the delicate skin surrounding your eyes, we are not looking at a cosmetic issue that can be fixed with an expensive cream or a better night's sleep. We are looking at a profound hydrostatic pressure backup that begins deep within the microscopic nephrons of your kidneys. Think of your kidneys as an incredibly intricate, highly pressurized filtration grid containing millions of tiny specialized structures that act exactly like a master coffee filter. Under normal, healthy conditions, this filter is perfectly calibrated to let waste products, toxic fluids, and microscopic cellular debris pass through into your bladder to be excreted, while simultaneously acting as a solid barrier that keeps your vital, heavy proteins safely locked inside your bloodstream. The most critical of these proteins is a substance called albumin. Albumin acts like a biological sponge inside your vascular highway. Its entire job is to create what medical professionals call oncotic pressure. This pressure is the invisible magnetic force that holds water inside your blood vessels, preventing fluid from leaking out into the surrounding tissues. But what happens when that master filter gets damaged? What happens when your lifestyle, your diet, or your metabolic choices start tearing microscopic holes in that delicate grid? The filter essentially begins to resemble Swiss cheese. Holes open up, the barrier breaks down, and your precious albumin starts leaking directly through the kidneys and spilling out into your urine. Medical systems call this condition proteinuria, but you can think of it as a slow, silent emptying of your body's structural sponge. As the level of protein in your blood drops lower and lower, your blood vessels completely lose their ability to hold onto water. The fluid has nowhere to go, so it begins to migrate, seeping through the vascular walls and pooling into the loosest, most easily expandable tissues in your entire body. And where is the absolute loosest tissue on the human form? It is the exact skin surrounding your upper and lower eyelids. If you wake up in the morning and notice a distinct boggy fluid retention around your eyes that takes hours to fade, your body isn't just retaining water because you had a salty meal last night. It is highly likely that your vascular system is losing its structural hold because your kidneys are failing to keep protein where it belongs. If this concept of fluid shifting is making sense to you, drop a yes in the comments right now so I know we are tracking together, because understanding this mechanism changes how you look at your body forever. Most people assume that if their kidneys were in jeopardy, they would feel a sharp pain in their lower back, or they would become incredibly ill overnight. But the truth is much more sinister. The damage happens in complete silence, and by the time you actually feel sick, you are often looking at stage 4 chronic kidney disease, a point where conventional medicine tells you that dialysis or an organ transplant are your only remaining options. This is why we have to look for the subtle early clues that show up long before the system completely collapses. And this is where things get even more serious, because puffy eyelids are only the first structural marker on the face. There is a second highly specific sign that happens on the inside of your eyelids that almost everyone completely overlooks. If you were to stand in front of a mirror, gently pull your lower eyelid down and look closely at the tissue inside, what color do you see? In a healthy individual with robust metabolic function, that inner tissue should be a vibrant, healthy pink or light red. This color indicates a rich, highly oxygenated supply of microcapillary blood flow. However, if you pull that eyelid down and see a pale, washed-out white or a dull, chalky gray, you are looking at a classic visual confirmation of severe anemia. Now you might wonder, what on earth does anemia have to do with kidney health? The answer lies in a hidden hormonal pathway that conventional health articles rarely connect for you. Your kidneys are not just passive garbage filters, they are highly advanced endocrine organs that manufacture crucial master hormones. One of the most important hormones your kidneys produce is a substance called erythropoietin. This hormone travels directly from your kidneys to your bone marrow, acting as the ultimate biological green light that tells your body to manufacture fresh, iron-rich red blood cells. When your kidneys become chronically damaged, scarred, or inflamed due to poor metabolic choices, their ability to produce this hormone plummets to near zero. Without that hormonal signal, your bone marrow goes on strike. Your red blood cell count drops significantly, your tissues become starved of life-giving oxygen, and the very first place this systemic depletion shows up is in the pale, bloodless tissue of your inner eyelids. Statistics show that up to 60% of individuals navigating advanced kidney issues suffer from profound, unaddressed anemia. If you are constantly exhausted, freezing cold even in warm rooms, and your inner eyelids are completely devoid of color, your kidneys are screaming for help, and ignoring that sign is a recipe for long-term metabolic disaster. If you are realizing right now just how interconnected your organs truly are, take a second to hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that this deep health education matters, and it helps us keep this channel completely free from corporate pharmaceutical sponsorship. Now let's peel back the layer on a third visual trigger that manifests directly on the surface of your eyelids, and this one is arguably the most visually striking. Have you ever noticed someone who has small, raised yellowish patches or soft bumps sitting right on the skin of their upper or lower eyelids? These are not blemishes, they are not warts, and they are not standard fat deposits from a poor night's rest. In the medical world, these patches are known as xanthelasma, and they represent a profound systemic breakdown of your body's lipid management system driven directly by underlying kidney stress. When your kidneys are compromised and leaking mass amounts of protein into your urine, your liver panics. The liver senses that blood protein levels are dangerously low, and in a desperate, chaotic attempt to stabilize the osmotic pressure of your blood, it goes into overdrive, pumping out massive, unregulated amounts of cholesterol and triglycerides. This sudden, overwhelming surge of fats has nowhere to go, so it begins to crystallize and deposit itself into the thin skin of your eyelids. What makes this even more dangerous is that when your kidneys fail to filter properly, your body also loses its primary site for the activation of vitamin D. Vitamin D is not just a vitamin, it is a master steroid hormone that regulates inflammation, vascular health, and protects the kidneys from structural scarring. When your kidneys fail, your vitamin D levels tank, which causes cholesterol to skyrocket even further, creating a vicious cycle that hardens your arteries and destroys your remaining kidney tissue simultaneously. If you see those yellow deposits on your eyes, your liver and your kidneys are locked in a civil war, and you need to intervene immediately before the damage becomes irreversible. What happens next is the part that nobody talks about because the fourth warning sign moves away from the skin of the eyelid and shifts directly onto the clear front surface of your eye itself, the cornea. If you look very closely at the eyes of someone dealing with advanced metabolic dysfunction, you will sometimes see a distinct opaque white or gray ring forming around the outer edge of the colored part of the eye. This is often referred to as arcus senilis when it occurs in older adults, but regardless of age, it represents a massive warning sign of unregulated calcium deposition. Your kidneys are responsible for maintaining a delicate balance between calcium and phosphorus in your bloodstream. When the kidney filters degrade, phosphorus levels rise exponentially, which forces calcium out of your bones and directly into your soft tissues, including the delicate structures of your eyes, your joints, and your heart valves. It is an absolute myth that your body will give you loud, painful symptoms when your internal chemistry is off. Your body speaks in a whisper of visual clues long before it shouts in a crisis of pain. If you are finding immense value in this breakdown and want to ensure you never miss our deep dive health blueprints, make sure you are subscribed to Metabolic Health Lab right now. We are building a community of thousands who are taking control of their own biology through simple ancestral health principles. But let's broaden our scope for a moment, because while the eyes are the ultimate diagnostic window, there are secondary bodily indicators that validate exactly what your eyelids are trying to tell you. Let's talk about what happens when you step into the bathroom. Have you ever looked down into the toilet bowl after urinating and noticed that the water looks like a freshly poured glass of draft beer? If your urine is consistently foamy, bubbly, or looks like soapy suds that refuse to flush away easily, you are witnessing the physical manifestation of protein loss. Just like whipping egg whites creates a thick, resilient foam because of the high protein content, leaking albumin from damaged kidneys creates that exact same foamy texture in the toilet. If you couple puffy eyelids in the morning with foamy urine in the afternoon, you do not need to guess if your kidneys are under stress. Your body is laying out the evidence in plain sight. Furthermore, look down at your lower extremities. Because gravity pulls fluid downward throughout the day, that fluid that leaked past your eyelids in the morning will eventually pool in your ankles and feet by the evening. If you press your thumb firmly into the side of your ankle or the top of your foot for 5 seconds, remove your thumb, and a deep indenting pit remains in your skin like memory foam, you are experiencing pitting edema. This is the exact same fluid from the exact same kidney leak, and it means your filtration system is actively losing the battle against systemic pressure. So, what is the absolute root cause of this destruction? If you ask the average person, they might think it's just bad luck or genetics. But as someone who spent decades tracking chronic health conditions, I can tell you that the number one driver of kidney destruction on planet Earth is high blood glucose and elevated insulin levels, fueled entirely by a modern diet engineered for dependency and addiction. Think about what happens when you consume a diet high in processed carbohydrates, sugary drinks, refined grains, and constant snacks. Your blood sugar spikes continuously. That excess glucose in your bloodstream acts exactly like microscopic sandpaper. Every single minute of every single day, your kidneys have to filter that thick, sugary, abrasive blood. As that sandpaper blood rushes through the delicate microscopic filtration units of your kidneys, it scratches, inflames, and destroys the vascular lining. Over time, the body tries to heal those scratches by laying down scar tissue. This process is called glomerulosclerosis, and it means your beautiful, functional filters are being turned into hard, useless calluses that can no longer clean your blood. To make matters worse, many people experience high blood pressure alongside this sugar damage. High blood pressure forces blood through those already damaged, sandpapered filters at an extreme, unnatural velocity, completely blowing out the remaining filtration units like a pressure washer destroying a fragile screen door. And what do most people do when they feel the aches, pains, or headaches associated with this metabolic inflammation? They reach into their medicine cabinet and pop an ibuprofen or other over-the-counter, non-steroidal, anti-inflammatory drugs. This is one of the most tragic mistakes you can make because those common pain relievers severely restrict blood flow to the kidneys, instantly suffocating the organ and accelerating the path to stage 4 failure faster than almost anything else. If this realization hits home for you, drop a comment below sharing if you or a loved one have ever been told to just take a pill for blood pressure or pain without anyone checking your metabolic foundation. Let's get a conversation going because public awareness on this topic is dangerously low. We must realize that we are like fish living in a highly toxic tank. The modern food environment is designed to keep your insulin high, your metabolism broken, and your organs under constant, unyielding strain. If you try to fix the fish without cleaning the water in the tank, you will fail every single time. You cannot rely on sheer willpower or pharmaceutical cover-ups. You have to fundamentally change the internal environment of your body so that health becomes an automatic byproduct of your daily routine. So, how do we clean the tank? How do we stop the protein leak, heal the microscopic filters, and reverse the visual signs showing up on our eyelids? It starts with an absolute non-negotiable dietary shift. Since high sugar and elevated insulin are the primary sandpaper destroying your filters, you must adopt a healthy, low-carbohydrate lifestyle immediately. By eliminating the refined sugars, the breads, the pastas, and the constant toxic inputs, you instantly remove the abrasive element from your bloodstream. Your blood goes from being a thick, damaging syrup back to a clean, smooth fluid, allowing the kidneys to finally rest and initiate their natural cellular repair mechanisms. But cutting the carbs is only half the battle. The true secret weapon for kidney regeneration is the strategic implementation of intermittent fasting. When you voluntarily extend the window of time where you are not consuming food, something miraculous happens inside your cellular biology. Your insulin levels drop to baseline, allowing your blood vessels to relax and lowering systemic blood pressure naturally without the need for kidney-suffocating medications. More importantly, fasting triggers a process called autophagy. Autophagy is your body's internal recycling program. It is the method by which your cells systematically hunt down, break down, and clear out damaged proteins, scarred tissue, and cellular debris. By engaging in consistent intermittent fasting, you are essentially hiring a cleanup crew to clear the scar tissue out of your kidney filters, opening up the blocks, and restoring proper hydrostatic pressure. Additionally, if you are navigating the early stages of this strain, you must support your vascular system with targeted, high-quality nutritional inputs. Magnesium is absolutely critical. It acts as a natural calcium channel blocker, relaxing your arteries and keeping blood pressure stable so your filters don't get blasted by high-velocity fluid. Potassium is equally vital as it helps balance sodium levels and flushes excess fluid out of your tissues naturally, reducing the puffiness around your eyes and ankles without draining your body of essential nutrients. However, a massive word of caution. If you have already been diagnosed with advanced stage 4 kidney disease, your filters are so compromised that they can no longer clear minerals properly, meaning you must work closely with a knowledgeable practitioner before loading up on high-dose supplements. But for the vast majority of people looking to prevent that crisis, fixing your diet, dropping your insulin, and stepping away from the snack cabinet are the most powerful steps you can take. Your health is your absolute greatest asset, and your body is constantly communicating its status to you through visual cues like puffy, pale, or spotted eyelids. Do not wait for a catastrophic laboratory report or an emergency room crisis to force you into compliance. Take control of your metabolic destiny today by cleaning the water in your tank and giving your organs the ancestral environment they need to thrive. If you are ready to commit to this health transformation, drop a comment below with the word regenerate so we can lock in this agreement together. Hit that like button to smash the misinformation out there, and make sure you are fully subscribed to Metabolic Health Lab so you can stay armed with the ultimate actionable blueprints for long-term health and vitality. Now, for the exact step-by-step instructions on how to implement intermittent fasting correctly without stalling your metabolism, click on this next video right here, and let's keep the momentum going.